Hey everybody, it's John, Lake Erie Chestnuts. I want to welcome you to the channel. We've had quite a few new subscribers this year and I want to thank you for subscribing. I want to tell you a little bit about our channel. Our channel is primarily born from growing chestnuts. We grow a big mix of chestnuts. We have over 20 varieties in our chestnut orchard at this time. We started in 2014 with just 3 trees, and in 2015 we expanded by a couple hundred more, and we're up to over 400 trees at this time, and we're in our 6th and 7th year of those growing. We've produced chestnuts now for 4 years, just had a couple each year. We have not had any major harvest, but we're working on getting there, and we expect by the 9th year that we'll have a significant harvest that we can begin to sell chestnuts. According to the IRS, chestnut orchards are required to generate some revenue, not necessarily a profit, but some revenue by their 9th year. So I best guess that's based on some sort of science, and so that's what we're going with. Maybe next year will be a great big harvest. I'm not sure the trees are getting much bigger if you've watched the videos. So I thought I'd tell you a little bit about myself if you haven't been watching long. My name's John. We live in Northwest Pennsylvania. Near Corry, Pennsylvania is the location of the orchard. I don't live directly on the orchard, but I live near it. And I purchased that property in 2014 and we grew that. I grew up on a farm in the state of Indiana, and I wanted to have a crop that I could grow but not require a significant time investment, and I felt like chestnuts fit that bill, plus it's a unique crop. Chestnuts don't require a significant amount of pruning. They don't require a ton of spraying, and to this point I haven't sprayed. And they have a few pests and definitely a major blight issue that you really have to care for, but overall, compared to intensively managing crop farming or apples, which require tons of spraying, pruning, and intensive labor, I felt like chestnuts fit the bill best for me. I grew up on that farm in Indiana. We did crop farms. I grew up building homes with my dad, and then I moved out of the house, served some time in the military, and then came out and went to medical school, and I'm an emergency physician. I trained at University of Pittsburgh in emergency medicine, and I've been practicing on my own for a little over 10 years. And so with COVID, that's been very interesting, but you know, just like in the military, I was proud to serve then, I'm proud to serve now. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about the channel. If you're purely a chestnut tree fan, this channel does have a lot of that, and it's dominant in that, but we manage the whole property. And one of our pests of chestnuts is deer. Deer are very populous in our area, and so in the fall you will notice that some of my habitat management focus will go to some hunting videos. So I apologize if you are not a big fan of hunting. Maybe you can skip past those videos, but please don't leave us. I think that the chestnut videos do add a lot of value, and I'm trying to create an environment where people can share comments, learn from each other, and we can grow the industry in the U.S. A little bit at a time. You'll see some of our chestnut videos fade to that kind of hunting theme in the fall, and then we'll get back to winter chestnut orchard maintenance, do some look-ins on the orchard, and show you what I'm doing to prepare for the next year. I have several new varieties. If you've watched recent videos, new varieties that I'm going to be growing this year. Very excited about that. As you can see behind me, the orchard has started putting on its fall colors and kind of beyond the peak color. Chestnuts typically turn a yellow color. They've gone beyond that. They're brown. They do hold their leaves. They're a member of the beech family. They'll hold their leaves into the winter, and then as spring comes, those will all push off and the new flush of leaves come out. So I want to tell you about some upcoming videos we have. We're going to do some seed stratification. You've seen that before. I do that every fall, and then I sell some seedlings in the spring. I usually sell between 12 and 18 inch seedlings, either sprouted that spring or a carryover 1 year bare root tree seedling. Those usually sell locally before I can ever mail them out. I tried mailing, but there's too much demand locally, so I was able to sell those locally. And so shipping those is somewhat difficult unless it's a really large order. So we'll do some seed starting. I'll show you how the trees that I have that are going to winter over in the nursery beds, how those are faring over time, and you know, anything else kind of pops in my head about what the next plan is. We'll let you know. I'm considering growing some additional types of trees in the orchard, so we'll see how that goes over time. One of the new challenges I found this year was the gypsy moth that you can see the caterpillar in the background here. Beautiful caterpillar, but absolutely defoliated the trees. Some of the trees did grow back and most of them did survive, but it was a significant hurt to their growth for this year. I was a little slow on the pickup there, but there was only one bagworm gypsy moth nest that I was able to cut off and burn, and most of the trees recovered by the end of the year. I don't see a ton of them in the surrounding forest, so hopefully that's going to be a small pest, but we'll have to manage that actively as we go on. And that'll be mechanical controls, me picking them off, squishing them, burning the nest. The other thing that I found, which was very concerning, hopefully it won't be a big problem, it's usually more of a problem as you get further south, is ambrosia beetle showed up on one of my distressed trees that was rubbed and knocked in half by one of the deer. I did have one tree with that, which when I found it, I removed the tube from the orchard, burned the tree instantly, and we'll just have to see. That can be devastating to an orchard if that gets a big root, a big hold. So, it's always interesting. And then with COVID and working and doing my day job, it became a challenging year with 2020. I was hopeful for a big harvest, but it didn't happen. We did harvest some chestnuts, but after a good year 2 years ago, a fair, good year for a young orchard, last year was a drop off. I thought they would come roaring back this year, and we did have good growth, but not a significant number of blossoms, and that was universal across the nation. We did have a harvest of some beautiful nuts this year, which you can see in the background. Some of the chestnuts were large sized, well over an inch, inch and an eighth, inch and a quarter in diameter. Some were smaller. All of them tasted good. Many of mine have, or almost all have, some Chinese genetics, if not dominantly Chinese. So I'm not a sophisticated palate. If you follow on some of the chestnut pages that I'm also on, some people can really distinguish between the different flavors. I'm just not that sophisticated. I think they all taste good. But I was bringing up the possibility of potentially doing a question and answer session live on YouTube. That could be later this week. If you guys are interested in doing a 20 or 30 minute live question and answer session. I'm certainly not an expert. I'm learning a lot about chestnuts, but I'm not an expert. If you are interested in a Q&A, if you can make a comment below, and we'll try to come up with a mutually beneficial time that would work, where we could kind of do it. We could potentially set up the, depending on weather, we got high winds that just came through and snow. We could potentially do it in the orchard, but if it's highly windy, which some of you have grown to know and love, we may have to do it indoors. But I did purchase a new microphone that does have some wind capabilities to buffer that wind. It has the cat that you can cover. So, those of you that like the videos but hate the wind, maybe there's hope for you. Maybe it'll be a little better here in the future. I finally shelled out a few dollars and got a little better audio system. We'll see how that works out. So anyway, wanted to take a few minutes, introduce myself to those who are new, explain, you're like, I signed up for a chestnut video and now I'm suddenly getting hunting videos. I kind of live my life on that one channel, and if you don't like them, I've asked you not to unsubscribe. Chestnut videos will be closely following. We do them out throughout the winter, and it's all part of our management system. If you notice, I lose several really nice seedling trees every year due to deer. They must be managed, and that's my role in that. And it's a renewable resource. So I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate you following. Anytime you make a comment, that's helpful. If you can just take a second to do a thumbs up, that's really helpful to the channel. It really helps get this out to more people, and there's intensive interest in chestnuts. And the more we can get this out to people, the more we can grow as a community, the more we learn about chestnuts, and we can have a thriving chestnut industry here in the U.S. once again. So again, I'm John, Lake Erie Chestnuts. Let your friends know if they're interested. Like and subscribe. That really helps us. I really appreciate it. Thanks. Have a great day. Remember, if you're not growing, you're dying.